think we'll go ahead and start. We do have a quorum. As I said, Amber can't join us. Linda's on the phone, and Lauren will be a little bit late in joining. But we do have a quorum, so if we could say the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just a quick comment, Mary Ann, a point of order. Yep. Without us being broadcast live, I don't think we can make any decisions tonight.
I think that's okay.
Okay.
Before we go ahead with the minutes, as you'll note on the agenda, just to make everyone understand what's happening, one is the executive session if necessary. We are going to go into executive session. We'll be discussing personnel evaluation. We cannot take votes in executive session. So we will go into that separately. But rather than coming out and going into another public session, any item that we vote on, we need to vote on in a public meeting will be done in September. So I don't think, Lisa, unless you see anything else that would require a vote, I don't think there's anything on the agenda that we need. Do you?
Only the minutes.
Okay. Okay, and we can always postpone that.
Yes.
Until the next time too. I would say the only comment I have, Linda was at the meeting, but by phone without being in the Zoom the last time. So we just add her to the participants. Are there any other additions, changes, or deletions to the minutes? If not, we will table that motion to approve them until the September meeting. Okay, public audience. I'd like to welcome Greg Golinsky, who's the new president of the Friends of the Simsbury Public Library. Greg, and I apologize, I don't know what's going on with my Wi-Fi here. I've sent you 2 or 3 emails and they all wind up in my outbox. But we're really happy to have you on board. And would you just like to let everybody know a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me to the meeting. I am the new president of the Friends. I've been a friend for a long time, have worked at the book sale, et cetera, and I'm a big library fan. I've lived in Simsbury for 18 years and I am retired. And, you know, I want to be as active as possible. It's unfortunate the library is still closed, but it's going to come back around. I'm sorry we didn't have the sale this year because I'm a big proponent of the sale. I've worked at it for many years. And, but, okay, life goes on, and hopefully, and we'll have it next year and make it better than ever. I'm open to questions or whatever, but it's nice to meet you all. Some of you I know already, but not everybody. And hope to meet everybody in person at some point. Thanks.
Yes, hopefully it won't be too long before we can do this in person.
Right.
Greg, are you going to continue as a liaison, or do you think there'll be another board member that you will appoint?
Right now, I would say I would like to continue to be, unless somebody has a problem with that. No one has said no, but I would like to be.
No, that's great. I'm just asking so we can make sure our lists are updated so that we have your email and we have your phone, etc.
Sure. Yeah, please put me on there for that. Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. Does anyone have any questions of Greg before we go on? Well, welcome, Greg, really.
Thank you. Okay. Amy, I'm not sure why my email's not working for you because I do get everybody else's. So
no, it's on my end. I'm at the beach and I don't know why the Wi-Fi is not being particularly responsive. It's not you, it's mine.
Okay.
I don't have any communications. Lisa, do you have any?
I don't.
Okay. Well, then we'll toss it back to Greg to see if there's any report from the Friends that you want to share with us.
At the moment, nothing, although I just mentioned with Tully before everybody else came on that one of my intentions is to review the bylaws, which haven't been looked at in a few years. Also, I want to let you know that John Schuyler, who's the new treasurer, he and I are looking at a number of the financial aspects, including, where the money's invested, how can we maybe do that a little bit better and make it a little more simplified than it is right now. I'd also like to thank Lisa for sending me the budget. You sent me about, I don't know, maybe a month ago now of the contributions and what's going on. I appreciate that. That was very informative. And at the moment, that's about all I can tell you until we get a little further along.
Okay, great. I really don't have anything more in the chair's report other than to reiterate at the end of this meeting, we will go into executive session, just the board members, and any action will be taken at the next meeting.
Sure. I've put the link up for the Zoom meeting for the executive session in the chat. So you should be able to copy it from there.
Okay. We'll make sure we do it before. Oh, I see the chat at the bottom. Thanks, Sherm.
Thanks, Sherm.
You are welcome.
Lisa, do you want to go through your report?
Sure. Before I do that, though, I want to offer to Greg, if you want to come and meet with me at the library, I'm happy to do that. John and I are going to schedule a meeting to talk too. So if you want to be part of that meeting, I'm happy to do that too.
Sure, maybe we can do it at the same time. John and I live across the street from each other, so it's real easy for us to get together. Okay.
What we'll probably do is meet at the picnic table. That's what we've been doing.
That's great. That's fine.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right, so great. Going into my report, personnel, we've hired many people during this pandemic time. Rebecca Warner and Marissa Tassinari and Christy O'Connor began work as part-time library services assistants in the Borrowing and Technical Services Department. Christy O'Connor had previously been working as a part-time page in the same department. Renee Pellissier began work as a part-time library services assistant in the Children's Department, and that position became available when Erica Sia was promoted to a full-time library services assistant position. Performance reviews for all the library staff have been completed and returned to Town Hall signed. The facility, the air conditioning on the upper level has been repaired 2 times over the past 2 months. It is something that we talked to the facilities master plan facilitators about for sure, so it's definitely on their radar. The Friends program room served as a community device charging station August 6th and 7th, and actually the 10th and 11th as well. The 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th following the storm. And many visitors took advantage of the library's Wi-Fi access from the parking lot during that time as well. Just to update you, there'll be community COVID testing in the library's upper level parking lot next Tuesday and Wednesday. The carpet and reorganization project is still wrapping up. We were waiting on some pieces that were some molding pieces for the edge of the stairs that were not in stock at the time when we ordered the carpeting. That is expected to be here on the 22nd, so that should help wrap up the carpet project. During this time, though, the staff has been busy reorganizing the collections to promote accessibility. Services and programs. The Adult Services Librarian, Lindsay Neffinger, will be serving as the liaison to the Spirit Council. The Spirit Council partnered with the library to present the anti-racism discussion program on August 4th, Let's Talk Simsbury. And the Spirit Council is actually an offshoot of Community for Care. It's to help promote diversity within the community. So as you know, that's #1 goal of our strategic plan. So I thought it was important that we had a liaison to that committee. Staff continues to fill 40 to 50 curbside pickup requests daily, and as of this morning, the holds are back in play, so people can now get their holds as well. Staff have resumed filling the Little Free Libraries now that the playgrounds are open. The Children's Department and Borrowing Department continue to create a variety of digital content and programming to engage the community. The Children's Department and Borrowing Department have created a number of make and take learning and engagement activities, which may be picked up during curbside pickup hours, and they've proven very popular. The Children's Department curated and categorized by grade level summer reading books so patrons could easily request them through the curbside form. And the Borrowing and Technical Services Department also did that with high demand books. 43 new e-cards were issued in July. Digital downloads increased by 87% over 2019, which is that's sort of to be expected during this time. 765 patrons were served by curbside pickup in July with 7,261 items checked out. As you'll notice, I did not give you statistics this month. It didn't really seem warranted to give you the statistics with a comparison over last year because it's such a different time. I also would suggest that going forward, perhaps we look at statistics quarterly rather than monthly.
That sounds good.
Okay, and then for grants, the PEG-PISA grant purchase deadline has been extended to November 30th. So I know that Mark is going to start working on the program room AV upgrades soon, Mark, correct, in September? You're muted.
You've got to,
Yeah, I sent an email to Susan and Rick, and I'm waiting to hear back from them.
Okay, great. And some of the other equipment has been on order. So, and that is my report.
just to recap for the new members, are all of you aware that we're reconfiguring the upper level of the library?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I know we had talked about it. Okay, the next item then, are there any other questions of Lisa? Would be the budget.
The item that we always point out during July is under the administrative services, which is the first section of the budget, the contractual services. If you look, we've paid out $44,000 already. That's our membership fee to the library consortium that we belong to, and that is a one-time fee every year, and it comes out right in July. So you'll see that budget line looks like we've spent a lot out of it, but again, it's a one-time fee.
Any other questions? Do we have a lot that we've, okay, I'm drawing a blank on the word, that we've accrued?
That we've encumbered already? No, not so far. Sue Mazursky, who is my administrative secretary, has not gone in and encumbered for the electrical, for, you know, the heat, et cetera yet.
Okay. Are there any other questions? I think that's the next item, Linda. Can you hear Linda, Lisa?
No, she's on mute. She needs to unmute her phone.
Yes. Okay. See if you can talk loud, and it's on my phone too.
Do I need to unmute Linda?
Yes.
I unmuted everyone, Sherm.
She's still showing as muted.
Yes.
I know, I think it's because she's on her phone.
Oh, okay. I can hear you, but no one else can.
She could type it in the chat.
Except she's on her phone.
Oh,
Yep, she's asking about the opening, which is the next agenda item. Okay, so why don't we go into the, no, we'll go into that, and then if you have any questions, just let me know. Okay, keep on. Lisa, she was wondering about any updates on the opening. So what we had when we put it on the agenda was best guess, I guess, as far as when it might happen, but also what plans are anticipated.
Sure. What we understand at this point from the town manager is that we will likely open on September 8th, which is the Tuesday after Labor Day. And as we talked about very briefly during the last meeting, there will be a number of restrictions in place when we do open. I have it in front of me. I hesitate to send it out to all of you because it's a working document and it changes almost regularly. But what we have right now, and it's been reviewed with the entire staff at this point, as well as the town manager, curbside service will cease because we don't have enough staff resources to support curbside as well as supporting in-building activity. The entire staff will be in the building regular schedule. We have enough PPE for everyone. That's personal protection equipment. We have plexiglass at all the service desks to protect the staff. People will be asked to keep 6 feet from the service desks as well. So in front of the information desk, if you remember how it looks, it's sort of a horseshoe. We'll have 2 tables on the side of it and maybe 3 tables in front of it, depending on how many tables it will take to cover the length of the information desk, just to keep people that much further away. We will have socially distanced workstations for the staff. There are maybe not even a handful of staff that work in close proximity to each other. So we've reconfigured some desks already, and we'll also be having staff work remotely in the conference rooms to keep them socially distanced from each other. We'll continue to quarantine the materials that are returned for 72 hours. We will very likely have limited open hours because it's going to take a lot of manpower to make sure that all of these guidelines are enforced, and everyone is monitored as they come in the building for wearing a face mask. As you probably know, the governor issued an executive order late last week that people who do not wear face masks for medical reasons now have to produce a note as to why they do not need that mask. So we will have to obviously enforce that when people come into the building. What the management team at the library and I have determined is that at least for the first couple of weeks, there will always be a supervisor or a library building supervisor at the door monitoring people coming in and out. And so for that purpose, we will have one point of entry into the building, which will be the upper level. We will be blocking off the parking area that goes up the side of the building on the west side of the building where the book return is, so that people can use that as a walkway, and people will not be allowed to use that through road. It will be barricaded by Public Works, and people will not be able to park on that hillside as well. And we've asked the staff to park at Boy Scout Hall, so we have enough adequate parking. We'll be adding additional handicap parking at the upper level to try to accommodate that. And people can exit the building from any exit, so they can use the downstairs exits to exits, but it will be one point of entry. We will not be inviting the volunteers to come back into the building just to keep social distancing. Let's see. Obviously, the visitors will be required to wear face masks and social distance. Let's see. We've determined where we will quarantine material. The tech lab will be locked, so people will not be allowed to use the tech lab because it will be hard to monitor people in the tech lab for social distancing. So we'll use that to quarantine the upper level material, and the baby room on the lower level will be used to quarantine that material because we don't want patrons to have access to that quarantined material, so we need to keep it locked. Let's see, we will be directing the patrons to return material exclusively through the outside book returns so that we can try better to quarantine it. Keep in mind too, that because we're barricading that west side parking lot, the drive up book return will be inaccessible for driving up. So people will have to walk up to it. So that's unfortunate, but that's just the design of the building. Visitors will be encouraged to browse, check out, and leave the building and not linger. Access to the stacks will be one way. Checkout at the self-checks will be encouraged, and we'll have enough disinfectant for the patrons to disinfect the self-checks, and the staff will also disinfect it regularly. The elevator, the innovators workshop, and the copy print room will be one person or one family unit at a time, and there'll be signage for that. The single-use restrooms will be available, but the multi-use restrooms will be locked because it would be too hard to keep them clean. The water fountains will be covered. The cafe will be closed. The toys and manipulatives in the children's room will be put in storage. All of the program spaces will be locked and unavailable for use or reservation by the community. Study and conference rooms will also be locked. And as I mentioned, the tech lab will be locked. The catalog tablets that we have mounted on the wall and the ends of the end caps, they'll be working, but they'll have press and seal cover on them so we can replace that a couple of times throughout the day. It also will protect the equipment when we sanitize it. Computer use will be limited to an hour per day per person, and SHRM has helped us install timing software on the computers, so it will time out after an hour, so the staff will not have to intervene. There will be no computer use in the children's department, however. There will be no seating available in the library except for one seat per table in the Business Resource Center, as well as a seat at the 8 computers that will be available for public access. So we'll be down a number of computers for public access because of the social distancing required. Let me see. All technology assistance will be contactless. So the patrons are very used to coming into the library and bringing their Kindle or laptop and having the staff interact with their device, but we will no longer be able to do that because of the contact with the equipment. The Board of Selectmen, I don't know if you know, have decided that all copies and printing is free up to $5 through Labor Day, but that could be extended because they don't want anyone taking cash. So I anticipate at this point that that will be pushed out and extended. So any fax will have to be used credit card, and we'll be doing prints and copies for free up to $5 so that we don't have to take cash. We do some outdoor in-person programs as well, just as a test to see how that works. Remote notary service has been extended by the governor until the pandemic is over, so that will continue. And the reason that we won't be doing notary service in person is because the notary log goes back and forth between the person whose document you're notarizing and the notary. So that's too many points of contact. And then once we get open and up and running in our new normal, we'll be starting to plan delivery to at-risk residents, which is formerly, or better known as the Books to Your Door service by the Friends. But since we can't have volunteers in the building, it will probably be staff driven, except that the Junior Women's Club through Amber has generously volunteered to do the driving for us. So, and those are the restrictions that we have in place right now. It sounds like a lot, but other libraries are open at this time and they have the same restrictions in place and they're not having any difficulty or challenges. So I'm anticipating that it will be seamless.
Thank you. That's a lot of work in thinking of just what could and would happen. So I appreciate all that. Does anyone?
Joint planning with the manager, so.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
How are the staff doing in preparation? Because I know some of them, I remember when the public were starting to come into my place of work and how anxious I was. And I'm wondering, how are your staff doing getting ready for the public to come in?
I think certain staff will be more anxious than others, as with any situation. And right now, I think everyone is okay, but we're still a couple of weeks out. But as we get closer to that time, I think the anxiety will grow. I've stressed to them that the employee assistance program is available to them should they feel that they need some sort of assistance.
Smart.
Any other questions? Lisa, thank you so much for all the work that you do.
Oh, you're welcome. It's my pleasure.
One thing I was going to mention, and I'm looking at Kathleen, I did notice on the newspaper that Mary Ann Flynn passed away. And I was wondering if we could send a sympathy card from the board.
I would be happy to do that. I had noticed that as well. I got a notice from the Friends. Yes.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or anything someone wants to bring up, maybe to put on next month's meeting? As I said, otherwise I'll entertain, like you said, well, a motion to go into executive session.
So
And second. Holly, all in favor?
aye.
Hi.
Okay, so the people going into executive session will just be the board, and Lisa, if you want to join us, that's your prerogative.
Are you okay with me joining? Because it's up to you. All of you can. That's a group.
I'm okay, or we can do it next month, whatever.
It's up to you.
It's Sherm. So you have the link on chat that you copy from there. I've also emailed it out to everybody.
Okay, so Sherm, if I'm looking at this, we hit leave and then hit chat?
No, we actually will have to close this meeting. So if you want to copy the link from the chat, or like I said, I've emailed it out to everybody, so you should have it in your email. And we have to actually end the Zoom meeting and initiate a new one.
Are we, just a point of order, are we going to adjourn this meeting or?
We're going to adjourn this meeting,
Okay,
ideally because this is supposed to be streaming.
right.
And to go into executive session, it wouldn't be streaming. And by opting, we can't make and pass any motions in executive session.
Mhm.
So rather than deciding half an hour from now to come back and setting up a third option, I'm just saying, what we will do is put on the agenda for next month, voting on whatever we might, come up as an issue during the executive session. So it will be public,
Yes.
just not tonight.
Would you like a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Yeah, I think you just made it, didn't you?
Well, I made a motion to go into executive session.
Oh,
And about 4 minutes ago, our faces started to appear on the Board of Ed channel,
okay.
which means that the Clean Energy Task Force must have ended.
Okay, well then why don't you make a motion to to adjourn this part of the public meeting and to go into executive session.
I'll make a motion to adjourn this session, to go into public session, to go into our executive.
Right. And a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Lauren. Can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Okay. So then we'll all leave and go into our emails and get the other login. Okay?
Okay, great.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Thank you.